Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel right now because this segment is why you watch H.A. Goodman on YouTube. It's why you're going to subscribe, hopefully, to this channel if you haven't. I'm going to read you an article. Trump and allies forge plan to increase presidential power in 2025. The former president and his backers aim to strengthen the power of the White House and limit the independence of federal agencies. Federal agencies are not independent at all. Most of these federal agencies, including the Federal Bureau of Investigation, side with political power. The political power and influence resides within the Democratic Party. In many cases, if you look at what the Washington Post, the New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, Vanity Fair, Esquire, The Atlantic, Rolling Stone, The New Yorker, New York Magazine, Vice, you look at a public relations monstrosity, they all say the same things all the time in unison about Trump and the same things about the Democratic Party and liberal viewpoints. The New York Times, for example, this article, we'll read the first paragraph, but if you look at what an authoritarian does, they have complete control of media or the media narrative. They have complete control of intel agencies. They have complete control of, for example, Hollywood, cultural issues or topics. That's not Trump. Go and wear a Make America Great Again hat and wear a Biden, whatever the tagline is, nobody knows, hat. You wear a Biden hat in a Trump, like a red state or a place with many conservatives, nobody's going to care. They might just look at you with, they might feel sorry for you. You wear a Make America Great Again hat anywhere. Let's say any, wonderful cities, any blue state with, a whole lot of wonderful, morally superior, highly educated, almost always apoplectic Democrats. You wear that red hat, you're going to be on YouTube, very likely, with somebody trying to take the hat off. You've seen the lawn signs. It extends beyond intel agencies. You can't even put a bumper sticker of Trump on your car or a lawn sign or wear a hat. So you're talking about the true authoritarians. You look for Twitter, silencing speech. You couldn't talk about Hunter's laptop. They utilized a dossier that was literally purchased against Trump, the Steele dossier, by his direct political rivals, and accused him of things he didn't do for 7 years. Then you have the Manhattan District Attorney or the Southern District of New York going after Trump. These are all liberal Democrats. And then you have a special counsel, a second one, going after Trump. There's no second special counsel with Biden or Hunter. Then the special counsel there is for public relations purposes. And so what Clinton did with servers siphoning classified data is infinitely worse than what Trump did with boxes as a former president with the power to declassify. You're treating one political side in a different manner than another political side. These agencies are definitely not apolitical. These journalists or these publications are not apolitical or are nonpartisan. They've chosen one political side. You've deluded yourself. You're delusional if you think that everything is above board and Trump is being indicted because he committed crimes, whereas Clinton and Hunter and Joe didn't commit crimes. That's why they haven't been indicted. You are very possibly an imbecile who knows nothing about politics. But anyway, let's read this. Donald J. Trump and his allies are planning a sweeping expansion of presidential power over the machinery of government if voters return him to the White House in 2025, reshaping the structure of the executive branch to concentrate far greater authority directly in his hands. President Obama was in charge of every intel agency that went after Trump. President Obama, when he transferred power, it was not peacefully. Okay? It wasn't a peaceful transfer of presidential power. We've had a peaceful transfer since Washington. He investigated his direct political rival in Trump, and there was no reason to do so. You could have done so with George Bush could have done so with President Obama, because that was you-know-who's favorite candidate in 2008. Democrats started with a Russian reset. They campaigned on better relations with that country, literally campaigned on better relations. And so when Trump said, yeah, we should have better relations, oh my God, he's working for our Cold War adversaries. I mean, you have to be ignorant of politics to not understand what's going on. 20 years ago, Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld had the Washington Post and New York Times and CNN also. The pendulum has swung from conservative Republicans of the early 2000s, where all of media and intel agencies sided with their political ideology, now to Democrats. And so what Trump is doing is trying to make things a little bit more, trying to bring somewhat of an equilibrium back. You can't go after Trump and after Republicans and after conservatives. You can't utilize government against your direct political rivals, indicting Trump 2 or 3, 4 times before a presidential contest, and pretend that you're just doing so to keep democracy alive. There are only unnamed sources, only current and former U.S. officials, only 51 former intelligence officials that come out of the woodwork against Trump. And when there's a story that's detrimental to Hunter or to Joe or to Hillary or to anyone, I think Hillary Clinton will be the 24 nominee for the Democratic Party. I know that people think I'm nuts, but I just can't see 2 terms of mashed potato brains. Or at least it's like, anyway. I think Hillary Clinton, at this moment right now, if people are going to just, blindly vote for Biden because they're Democrats, then Clinton has even more authority or pull or popularity. She'll get even more voters. If that is the mindset. Democrats will vote for any person, thing. If Hillary Clinton must be looking at Fetterman and Biden saying, yeah, so I'm going to run again. Okay, if Fetterman and Biden were caught on a hot mic, you'd have a better chance deciphering whale sounds. Okay, it's like the Democratic Party, like people, they can just barely communicate, and suddenly they're victorious. Fantastic democracy. Imagine 20, 30 years ago, Pennsylvania senator or our current president. Imagine them running for mayor of a small town, even a mayor of a town in any place in the world. You think they'd be victorious with the manner they communicate? Probably not. And I'm trying to be as civil and as gracious as possible. But anyway, their plans to centralize more power in the Oval Office stretch far beyond the former president's recent remarks that he would order a criminal investigation into his political rival, President Biden. That's what they've done with him. The awareness of, if these writers are writing this, do they not see? Have you completely convinced yourself, morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrat, that all of this, going after Trump, accusing him of working for another country, investigating everyone around him, do you not see that as you do that, Hunter, Joe, Hillary, others have committed far greater offenses? Servers for 4 years, a laptop with incriminating data, basically emails asking Hunter for access to Joe. How can you use your influence on our company's behalf? Is one of the New York Post emails. And by the way, when was the last time the New Yorker or anyone else was suspended on Twitter? Never happened. But the New York Post was. And conservative speech is silenced. 250,000 conservative accounts were suspended on Twitter. The authoritarian, totalitarian ideology goes from Democrats and leveled at Republicans or Trump, not the other way around. Give me your thoughts. Hit subscribe right now. And if you want to read my writing in The Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, the Jerusalem Post, the Federalist, other publications, go to hagoodman.com, become a member to my Patreons below. Thank you. And the super thank